Welcome to the Deep Dive with Farmtips Diary. Today we're exploring how farmers are building data, co-ops sharing information not just for knowledge, but for bigger profits, better bargaining power, and potentially a redefinition of independence in farming. For centuries, farmers have shared tools, seeds, and labor. Communities thrived when neighbors helped each other. But in today's world, the most valuable tool isn't a plow, a tractor, or even land. It's data. Data about crop yields, soil health, weather patterns, input costs, and market prices has become the new currency of agriculture. Whoever controls it controls leverage, but for many small and medium farmers, that control doesn't lie with them. Instead, data often flows one way, upwards into the servers of corporations, input suppliers, or tech platforms. Farmers generate it through sensors, machinery, and apps, but rarely see the full picture. It's like giving away gold dust for free, only to buy back the finished jewelry at a premium. That's where data co-ops enter the story, how data co-ops work, and why farmers are embracing them. A data cooperative is exactly what it sounds like. Farmers pooling their data together, collectively owning and controlling it, and deciding how to use it for mutual benefit. Instead of letting outside companies dictate terms, farmers join forces. They share anonymized data on yields, prices, or production practices. In return, each member gains access to a much larger data set than they could ever build alone. Think of it like a library. One farmer's notebook only tells a local story, but a co-op gathers hundreds, thousands, or even millions of pages, creating a detailed, real-time encyclopedia of farming conditions. This matters because farming is inherently uncertain. Prices swing, weather shifts, pests arrive uninvited. The more data you have, the better you can anticipate, plan, and adapt. And when farmers themselves own this collective knowledge, they turn dependence into autonomy. For many, the appeal is also cultural. Farmers trust other farmers more than distant corporations. A co-op feels familiar. It's an extension of the old cooperative model, now updated for the digital age. Profit advantages, better benchmarks, smarter pricing, and collective bargaining power. The most immediate benefit of data co-ops is financial. First, better benchmarks. If you only know your own yield or input cost, it's hard to know whether you're doing well or falling behind. But with co-op data, you can compare against regional or national averages. Maybe you discover your fertilizer use is 20% above peers. That insight alone can save thousands of dollars. Second, smarter pricing. When farmers know the going rates in different markets, they can negotiate more effectively. Instead of relying on what middlemen say, co-op members use shared intelligence to spot fair deals or walk away from bad ones. Third, collective bargaining power. If hundreds of farmers approach an input supplier together, armed with data on their combined demand, they negotiate from strength. Bulk discounts become possible, contracts become fairer, the scales tilt back toward producers instead of buyers. This isn't just theory. In the dairy sector, data sharing has allowed co-ops to fine-tune feeding strategies, improving milk yields. In grains, collective data helps farmers time sales better, avoiding panic selling at low prices. In short, data turns from a hidden cost into a shared weapon. Real-world examples of successful farmer-led data sharing initiatives across the globe. Farmer-led data initiatives are sprouting. In the United States, the AG Data Transparent Initiative certifies platforms that treat farmers' data fairly. It's not a co-op itself, but it sets standards that co-ops can rely on. In Europe, the agricultural data space aims to give farmers a secure infrastructure to exchange information across borders. Pilot projects show that potato growers, for instance, can reduce pesticide use by 15% when pooling disease data. In India, smallholder collectives are experimenting with data platforms to track soil, moisture, and weather forecasts. By pooling information, they share irrigation schedules and save scarce water. And in New Zealand, sheep and beef farmers share breeding and performance data through cooperative networks. This allows them to collectively improve herd genetics, while keeping ownership of sensitive records. Each example shows the same pattern. Data, when shared and controlled collectively, becomes a tool for resilience. Practical challenges privacy, trust, and scaling cooperation. But if this model is so powerful, why isn't every farmer in a data co-op already? The challenges are real. Privacy is a huge concern. Farmers fear that if they shared data, competitors or corporations could misuse it. Even anonymized data can sometimes be reverse engineered. Trust is another barrier. Who manages the co-op? How do you ensure no farmer's data is weighted more than another's? Governance structures matter. Without transparency, coops risk collapsing under suspicion. Scaling cooperation is also tricky. It's easy for 10 farmers in one village to share information. It's harder when thousands across regions or countries must agree on rules, standards, and formats. And then there's the tech question. Building secure platforms requires investment. Farmers need training to upload, interpret, and apply insights. Without support, many co-ops may remain small or fragmented. In other words, the potential is vast, but execution is fragile. The bigger question, can shared data become the new fertilizer for farm prosperity? Looking ahead, the metaphor of fertilizer is revealing. Fertilizer doesn't grow crops on its own. It boosts potential when used wisely. Shared data works the same way. Alone, it's just numbers. But when combined, contextualized, and applied, it transforms farming. AI could supercharge this. Imagine a COP where live data flows from satellites, drones, soil probes, and market feeds, instantly analyzed and returned as tailored advice to each member. Every farmer benefits not only from their own field, but from thousands of others like it. But here lies a philosophical tension. Farming has long prized independence, the autonomy to make decisions on your land. Shared data, by definition, blurs that line. It asks farmers to lean on each other, to trust a collective brain. So the bigger question isn't whether data can raise profits, it already does. The deeper question is cultural. Will digital cooperation redefine independence itself? Instead of every farmer for themselves, could the new reality be independent together? Recap and reflection. So, what have we learned? Data cops bring farmers together to share and own their digital resources, turning scattered information into collective power. They create better benchmarks, smarter pricing, and stronger bargaining. Real-world examples prove it works. But privacy, trust, and scale remain hurdles. And as AI deepens the role of data, the bigger issue isn't just profits, but identity. What does it mean to be an independent farmer in a world of shared intelligence? If you found this exploration insightful, remember to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Farmtips Diary for more deep dives into the future of farming. We hope this exploration has been valuable. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you again on our next deep dive.